The Camino del Norte. 35 days to Santiago de Compostela. Irun. Our journey starts here, along the Spanish Atlantic coast, through windswept northern Spain, challenging mountain slopes and muddy trails. Totally unprepared, we embark on our pilgrimage. Jasmine will be crying on the first day. Many have walked the Camino for the last 1,200 years, each with their own stories, hopes and dreams, for a variety of reasons. To all of you, buen camino. The Camino del Norte isn't a straight line on a map. It's a pulse, slow, steady, ancient. Like a marathon without the finish line. Cold gusts of wind remind you it is not quite May yet. The vistas from the top of the mountains down to the shores are breathtaking. Four-legged pilgrims enjoying the afternoon sun. The first climb is the Basque, some 800 meters above sea level. The ticket for the panoramic view is paid in pain. It's all going to be worth it. Famous last words. The climb down will hurt even more. The Basque country, or whimsical in the local tongue, straddles the Western Pyrenees, split between northern Spain and southwestern France. It has a varied landscape, rugged coastlines, green hills and mountain ranges. The Basques are known for strong cultural traditions in music, dance and rural sports such as stone lifting and wood chopping. Walking the old cobblestone streets past artisan shops and pincho bars, time moves at a different pace. Hospitality in the Basque country is a mix of warm, understated generosity and strong local pride. Locals are friendly but not intrusive. Your personal space and pace are respected. This makes the hospitality feel sincere rather than forced. It's not the loud, we'll treat you like royalty kind of hospitality. It's the, we'll make sure you're fed, dry and know where you're going kind. If you're used to very outward, effusive warmth and hand-holding, the Basque style can feel a little reserved at first, even brusque. The Basilica Coruco Andre Mariaren, or Basilica of St. Mary of the Chorus. Built in the 18th century, designed in the Churrigueresque Baroque style with a richly decorated facade featuring statues of Saint Sebastian and other religious figures. It's not as old as it looks. Although it feels medieval when you step inside, the basilica is relatively young for a European church. Finished in 1774, meaning it's technically younger than the United States of America. The altar soars almost to the ceiling, packed with twisting columns, layered niches and gold leaf that catches every flicker of light. The niches and ledges are filled with saints and angels, creating a kind of holy hierarchy, leading your gaze toward the Virgin at the top. With tired legs, each step drawn by the promise of rest, as the horizon opens, approaching the longest beach in the Basque country, a golden ribbon where the sea meets the sky and conspire to welcome the weary traveller. Zarauts. An early morning stroll on the promenade along the Basque coast. Waves gently crashing on the rocks. In the distance, surrounded by steep terraced vineyards, emerges a small, impossibly charming fishing village. Guetaria. Fashion designer Cristobal Balenciaga was born here, and the town has a sleek museum dedicated to his work, an elegant surprise in a rustic fishing port. Unlike the flat friendliness of the French way, the Norte is rugged, winding, sometimes punishing, and always breathtaking. The Atlantic often the only companion, glittering blue one moment, roaring grey the next. Nestled between the rolling green hills of the Basque countryside overlooking the Cantabrian Sea, this guest house near Itziar feels like it was built for unhurried mornings and slow golden sunsets. It's not just a place to stay, but to unwind, slow down, and find your inner peace. The Cantabrian Sea under stormy skies. Powerful wind lashes the surface into white foaming crests. Every swell feels heavy with intent, as if the ocean itself is breathing harder, gathering its strength. The Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao is one of the most famous examples of contemporary architecture in the world, and a big reason why Bilbao transformed from an industrial port city into a global cultural destination. Designed by Frank Gehry and opened in 1997, the building's curves, titanium panels and glass walls are meant to evoke a ship reflecting Bilbao's maritime and industrial heritage. Inside, you'll find vast gallery spaces for modern and contemporary art, including large-scale installations. The museum has hosted works by artists such as Jeff Koons, Yayoi Kusama, and Mark Rothko, blending permanent pieces with rotating international exhibitions. A museum that's as photogenic as its exhibits. A love letter to art wrapped in titanium ribbons. Refik Anadol turns code into a living canvas. Inside, reality is just one of many options. The answer to the question, what if artificial intelligence could dream? Richard Serra's permanent installation, The Matter of Time. It's considered one of the artist's most significant works, showcasing his mastery in exploring scale, material, and space. And rust. You follow the bends as they pull you inward, your footsteps echoing against walls that seem to breathe. Light slips in thin, deliberate slices, painting the surfaces in bronze and gold. You carry traces of what you've seen and wish to reverse time itself just so you can experience it all again for the first time. The road stretches ahead. Each step carries its own sound. The pack presses on the shoulders, but has become part of the body now. The mind circles between the rhythm of walking, the ache in your feet, and the slow drift of clouds overhead. Guernica has a dark past. On the 26th of April 1937, during market day, the small Basque town was subjected to a devastating aerial bombardment by Nazi Germany's Luftwaffe, acting in support of Spanish dictator Francisco Franco. The attack, which lasted over 3 hours, destroyed much of the town and killed hundreds of civilians. Modern Guernica is a calm, leafy Basque town, and at first glance you might not guess its name once echoed around the world as a synonym for destruction. Pablo Picasso's Guernica, a massive monochrome painting nearly 3.5 meters high and over 7.5 meters wide, is both an artistic masterpiece and a searing political statement born from tragedy. After crossing the Nervion River on the oldest transporter bridge in the world, the Vizcaya Bridge, or locally known as Puente Colgante, the trail lies ahead again. Burning calves are a constant nudge to slow down, to match the rhythm of the trail rather than fight it. Every ache seems to say, pause, breathe, look around. Out here, the Atlantic is never far. Its salty air carried over the cliffs and villages, its restless sound, a reminder that the journey is as much about presence as it is about progress. After all, this is not a race. Comillas is called the Caprice of Cantabria because it's a small fishing town that unexpectedly became a hotspot for aristocracy and avant-garde architecture in the late 19th century. In the late 1800s, the first Marquis of Comillas, Antonio López y López, transformed the little fishing village into a summer destination for Spain's nobility. Even King Alfonso XII spent holidays here. Because of the Marquis's wealth, Comillas became a showcase of Catalan modernism far from Catalonia, something unique in Spain. Gaudi designed El Capricho when he was only 31 years old, one of his earliest major works, and one of just 3 Gaudi buildings outside Catalonia. The name Capricho, Spanish for whim, fits perfectly. It was built for an eccentric, music-loving aristocrat, Máximo Díaz de Quijano, who wanted a playful summer villa. Musical motifs are hidden everywhere. Wrought iron sunflowers double as musical staves, and the house's floor plan even echoes a piano keyboard. Its facade is covered in ceramic tiles decorated with sunflowers which follow the sun, making the house a literal sun chaser. San Vicente de la Barquera is one of Cantabria's most charming fishing towns. The town is guarded by the Castillo del Rey, a 13th century fortress built by Alfonso I, and by the impressive Iglesia de Santa Maria de los Angeles, one of the biggest Gothic churches in Cantabria. The pairing shows both military might and religious prestige in a tiny town. It has always been a place where pilgrims swapped bread for fish. Even today, many walkers remember San Vicente not for its churches, but for its grilled seafood. Ribadesella, one of the gems of Asturias on Spain's northern coast, is probably the best respite you can get on the Camino, especially if you stay at the enchanting Villa Rosario. A classic Casa Indiana built in the early 20th century by wealthy immigrants who returned from the Americas. These houses were designed to show off both wealth and cosmopolitan taste. Rain has turned the mountain trail into a mud-flavored slushy. Each step sinks with a reluctant squelch, as if the ground is trying to swallow your shoes, making balance a constant game between comedy and disaster. Low-hanging clouds just clearing over the ocean with a chance of jelly legs in the afternoon, the relentless climb is a precursor for the killer peak, Pico Paradiella. On top, we are rewarded with fog. The view, while limited, is still picturesque and spectacular, like the pain in the calves. The stretch of coast between Navia and Tapia de Casariego is the most stunning scenery along the Spanish Atlantic coast. Here is where two Australian brothers in the 1960s introduced the locals to surfing. The final stage, Galicia. Walking inland now, away from the coast, the last 160 kilometers of our journey, through rural villages and small towns. The scenery has changed. Eucalyptus, oak and chestnut forests swallow the path, their scent heavy in the damp air. Streams and springs, trickling brooks cross the trail, often marked by mossy bridges or fountains where pilgrims stop to refill bottles. Gentle farmland unfolds in patchwork, dotted with stone walls, red-roofed hamlets, and lazy cows chewing in fields. It's softer countryside compared to the coast. More walkers join in the last 100 kilometers because this is the minimum distance required for the Compostela certificate. The path is well marked, but your thoughts may wander between anticipation of Santiago and reflection on all you've already walked. Each stamp you collect in your credential feels more significant now. You need 2 per day on this stretch to qualify for the Compostela. With fewer days ahead than behind, the mind drifts over everything. Why you started, the people you've met, the moments of silence, the landscapes that carved themselves into memory. The zest to arrive mixes with the quiet wish that the road would never end. With every milestone, the anticipation of Santiago intensifies. The walk becomes less about the physical effort and more about reflection, inner thoughts, and savoring the final stretch. Nearing Sobrado, before entering town, you sense the gravity of the Monastery dos Monxes, home to the Cistercian Brotherhood. Its towers appear in the distance, rising unexpectedly out of the rural plain. The blisters and aches are long forgotten, softened by the knowledge that the end is near. Fatigue becomes less heavy, replaced by anticipation. There's both joy and resistance. The cathedral awaits, but so does the ending of the daily rhythm that has become regimen. Pilgrims from other caminos merge. Suddenly the trail is alive with voices and footsteps. After so many days of quiet, it's jarring. But there's warmth in it too. Shared food, laughter at tables, the sense that we're all being pulled to the same place. Entering the old city of Santiago is a moment many pilgrims replay in their minds long after they have returned home. The houses grow older, stone walls and narrow streets guiding you inward, footsteps on cobblestone, the murmur of pilgrims around you, sometimes the faint bells of the cathedral pulling you forward. Then you turn a corner, step beneath the Arco del Paso de Gelmires, and suddenly the Plaza de Obradoiro opens before you. Galician bagpipes greet you as you enter the plaza. The cathedral towers rise above, weathered and grand, and many pilgrims stop in their tracks. Some cry, some laugh, some drop their pack, and just sit in silence. The square is filled with people arriving, embracing, taking photos, lying on the stone to rest. It feels both deeply personal and overwhelmingly communal. Whether you come with religious devotion, quiet gratitude, or simple relief, visiting the cathedral is less about ticking off a destination and more about pausing, acknowledging that the journey has ended and that its meaning will follow you long after you step back into your busy life. And so the journey ends here, in the shadow of Santiago's cathedral. What began as footsteps on a distant path has become something much greater. Moments of struggle and pain, of laughter and silence, all woven into one long walk. The Camino isn't just about reaching Santiago. It's about discovering what you carry within yourself and what you leave behind along the way. The pilgrimage is personal and different for every person. It is your Camino and yours alone. Don't let anyone tell you how it is supposed to be done or for what reason. After walking nearly 900 kilometers across mountains, coastlines, villages and beaches, we've finally earned ourselves a real holiday. It was the trip of a lifetime, but maybe, just maybe, we'll be back one day.